Good morning, ma'am.
Uh, is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Uh, this one was done, I think. As far as I remember, this congruence modulo M was done, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Is this done?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you confirm me? Yeah. Uh, so we discussed about equivalence relation. Equivalence relation is a relation which is reflexive, symmetric, and transitive. And we just said that if two elements are related by an equivalence relation, then these are equivalent and denoted by this one. Then we proved congruence modulo n. This is equivalence relation. Okay, and A
Yes,
and
ma'am.
B are equivalent here. Okay. Yeah. Now try to check whether divides relation on set of positive integer is equivalence relation or not. Determine it.
No, ma'am.
No. Why? First define this relation explicitly. Just write it. So what you get?
A
This
comma B.
relation will contain a comma b such that
A divided B.
a divides b, right? Or this such that you can just write like column. Okay. A and B are coming from positive integer, right? So this will be the subset of Z plus cross Z plus, right? Now, why is it not equivalence relation? Why?
Ma'am, because it's not
Ma'am, because
symmetric.
it's not satisfying symmetric condition.
It is not symmetric, right? That's why. Is it reflexive?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
it is reflexive. Every element, every positive integer divides itself. So it is reflexive. It is transitive as well. A divides B, B divides C, then A will divide C, right? But it is not symmetric. Okay. For example, you can give a counter example that is 2 divides 6, but 6 does not divide 2, right? So that means it is not symmetric. Means to say it is not equivalence relation. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So for disproving the thing, you can just give the counter example, or you can just give the region, that region only for which it does not becoming the equivalence relation. So only this region will be enough, not symmetricity. Okay? No need to prove reflexive and transitive. And whenever some relation is equivalence relation, then you need to show. Okay?
Yes,
Now,
ma'am.
R is equivalence relation on set A. That means R is the subset of A cross A. And this becomes reflexive, symmetric, and transitive. The set of all element R is equivalence relation. And if you take any element A from A, okay, from this set A, and if you collect all those elements which are related to A, all those elements B1, B2, B3, and Bn, if you collect all those elements in a set, that is known as equivalence class of A. That means all the equivalent members you are collecting from this, from A, right? So the equivalence class means to say the set of all elements that are related, or you can just say that are equivalent to an element. This is known as equivalence class of A. Clear? Okay, you're collecting B1 or the equivalent elements B2 and so on. Obviously, that will be also equivalent to A because of reflexivity and so on. B1 up to Bn. If you collect all these, in a set that is known as equivalence class of A. Okay, that means these are related to A via this relation R. Understood the definition of equivalence class?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
This is denoted by the square bracket A. And this R, subscript R, this subscript R represents the relation under which it is equivalence relation, right? We are finding the equivalence class. Or you can just represent this for simplicity, the square bracket with A. Okay, that means equivalence class of A under this relation R will be, can you define it? All those elements such that it will contain all those elements from A such that A and B are related, A or B. Okay, or you can just say A comma B present in that relation. That means this one only, right? Is
Yes, ma'am.
there any doubt? Yes.
No, ma'am.
So equivalence clause of A is containing all those elements. Now, can you tell me this is empty? Can this be empty? Equivalence class? Is it non-empty or empty? Sometimes it is empty. Yes.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
It will be non-empty always because we have one element that is always related to A, right? A belongs to this set because of reflexivity of that relation, okay? Because that relation is reflexive, that's why A will belong to equivalence class of A. Clear? So equivalence class is always a non-empty set, and this will be the subset of A. We are collecting from A only the elements which are related to A, right? Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is the definition. They have used S and we have used B. Doesn't matter, right? So equivalence class will be defined all those elements which are related to A. Okay. Now A is the representative of this class, or any element belonging into this class will be the representative of this equivalence class, right? And we have seen this is non-empty. Now, if you collect all the different equivalence classes, A1, A2, and so on up to AN, okay, you have A1, A2, and so on up to AN belongs to A. If you collect all the different equivalence classes, A1 is different from A2, A2 is different from A3, and so on. Okay, so up to AN you have collected it. And if you take the union of all these, that will become A itself. These are the subsets of A. Okay, and if you take union, that will become A. Okay, now any two equivalence classes are either same, means identical, or they are disjoint. And what do we mean by disjoint? If you have equivalence class of A and equivalence class of B, if A is related to B, then B will present in the equivalence class of A, and if B is related to A, then A will present in the equivalence class of B, right? Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So these two equivalence classes will be exactly the same whenever you have A is related to B. Okay, and if A is not related to B, if A is not related to B, then these equivalence classes are totally disjoint, totally different from each other. That is, if you take the intersection of these two equivalence classes, you are getting nothing. That is phi. Okay, so this is the specialty of this equivalence class, that any two equivalence class are either identical or disjoint. This means disjoint. Clear? Yes? We are just
Yes.
saying are either identical or it will be disjoint. But there will be means to say there is nothing nothing like the case that some element are present over here and here, others are different. No. Either there is no common element. If something is common, everything will be same. Clear? Yeah. For example, find the equivalence class of 0 and 1 for congruence modulo 4. We have seen that congruence modulo M is the equivalence relation, correct? We have seen that. So congruence modulo 4 also equivalence relation. This means A comma B present in this relation such that, yes, this relation will be A is related to B if A and B are congruent under modulo,
4.
tell me,
Module 4.
4, right? So this is the condition that these are related via this relation. Now you need to find the equivalence class of the element 0, and this is congruence modulo 4 is the equivalence relation on integer, set of integer. So one integer we have taken 0 and another is 1. We want equivalence class of this one. Okay, so equivalence class notation is a square bracket with element. Equivalence class of 0 will be, tell me,
Multiples of 0. 4, 4. Multiples of 4.
Yes, ma'am.
multiples of 4. Can you define it? All those elements such that which are related to 0, right? Which are related means both are congruent under modulo 4, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
This means those elements which are giving you 0 remainder after when you divide by 4. So these type of element will be 4k type, right? Multiples of 4 only giving you remainder 0, right? So this is the equivalence class of 0. Is there any doubt?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No. So k is running from minus infinity to infinity, right? So if you vary k, what you are getting? Minus 12, minus 8, minus 4, 0. 0 will be present in the equivalence class of 0, right? 4, 8, 12, and so on. Clear? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, can you find the equivalence class of 1? Just like this. Equivalence class of 1 will be here all those elements which are congruent to 1. Okay? It will be containing all those A such that A is congruent to 1 modulo 4. Now, you have those elements, you need to collect all those elements which are giving you 1, remainder 1 of when you divide by 4. Clear? When you
Ma'am,
divide
4k
by
plus
4,
1.
so this will be 4k plus 1 type, right? So this,
Yes, ma'am.
if you vary over k over integers, you will get that set, right? So what you got? 1,
Minus 11.
minus 3, minus 7, minus 11, and so on, right? And here it will be 5, then
9.
9, and so on, right? As you can see, equivalence classes are the subset of integers on which it is defined, right? The relation on which the set on which the relation is defined, equivalence classes will be from there only, that set only, right?
Yes, ma'am.
0, 1. Can you find the equivalence class of 2? So equivalence class of 0 is the set containing 4k type. Equivalence class of 1 is 4k plus 1 type. K is running integers. And equivalence class of 2 will be all those A's as that A is congruent to 2 modulo 4. That is, you will collect all those integers which are giving you 2 remainder 2 when you divide by 4. So those type is general type is given by 4k plus
2.
2.
2, right? So if you collect all those elements, that will be obviously different from these, And 4k plus equivalence class of 3 will be given by similarly 4k plus 3. Correct? 4k plus 3. What about equivalence class of 4? 4k plus 4. But
Ma'am, 4K
this
itself.
this is exactly same as multiples of 4, right? So equivalence class of 4 is same as equivalence class of 0. Equivalence class of 5 is same as equivalence class of 1. Equivalence class of 6 is same as equivalence class of 2. Equivalence class of 7 is same as equivalence class of 3. Then again 8 is same as 4k and so on, right? So how many different equivalence classes we got from this modulo congruence modulo 4 relation? 4, right? One is 0, 1,
1, 2, and 3.
2, 3. And as you can see, these are coming just 5 remainders, right? This relation is modulo 4 under modulo 4 means the number of remainders and all those remainders, which are when you divide any number by 4, right? It's 0, 1, 2, 3. And these are consisting of different equivalence classes. And total equivalence classes are these one only, 4 only, right? So in case of modulo M, how many different equivalence classes exist? Congruence modulo M, right?
M.
In case of 4, you have 4. So starting with 0, 1, 2, 3, and M minus 1, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
And so on, M minus 1. That is depending on the remainders. And here it was MK, 4K, na? 4K plus remainder, whatever remainder is. So here it will be this R remainder plus MK, right? So MK plus R. K is equal to 0, M plus, sorry, R is equal to 0, MK type, right? R is equal to 1, MK plus 1 type. R is equal to 2, MK plus 2 type. And so on, right? So these will form different or distinct, or you can just say just disjoint equivalence classes under congruence modulo M, right? And if you take anything common, if you want to check it whether something is common in between these two classes or these two, any of these two classes, are you getting it? Something common. Can you get something common? That is intersection of 0 with 1, 0 with 2, 0 with 3, or 1 with 2, 1 with 3, or 2 with 3.
No, ma'am.
You take any intersection, you are getting as 5, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Means disjoint. These are totally different. And if you take the union, intersection is 5, and if you take union of all these equivalence classes at a time, that is the numbers which are 4k type, 4k plus 1 type, 4k plus 2 type, 4k plus 3 type, then again it repeats. So are you getting the integer, set of integer, the whole set of integer? Are you getting that?
Yes, ma'am.
So if you take union of this one with this one with this one, you're getting as set of integers. Okay, this means we have only 4 sets which are partitioning this Z, right? So if your Z is given over here, you have equivalence class of 0. I am representing by 0, A0, right? Equivalence class of 1, I am representing by A1. Equivalence class of 2, I'm just representing by A2. And equivalence class of 3, representing by A3. Okay? And this total is Z. Are you getting it?
Yes, sir.
So this means these equivalence classes are the partition of Z. And what do you understand by partition? If you take any intersection of these Z, obviously partitioning will be the subset of this one. Okay, all those set AI, those would be the partition of A. in general, if A is the set, here A is equal to Z. Okay, A is equal to Z. So all those AI will form a partition of this one if you have, these are disjoint. That is, if you take common in AI and AJ, okay, that is intersection of AI and AJ, I is not equal to J. This you are getting as phi. That is nothing common in between any two equivalence classes or any two subsets, right? And if you take the union of all these AIs, okay, I is running from 1 to n, or I is running or index set, okay, index set can start with 0, 1, 2 and so on, okay. If you take this one, then you are getting A, okay, in this case it will be Z, okay, so this will be A. If you take the union of all the equivalence classes, it will get back you A, okay, and intersection of any two class will be, any two subset will be phi. So if some these subsets of A are satisfying these two conditions, then these forms partitioning of A. I hope you got it, the definition of partition of A, right? Pictorially, you can represent this one. This is any set A, and you got 4 different equivalence classes, or you can just say 4 different subsets you have, and these are the partitioning of this one, because you don't have anything common between any of these two sets. And if you take the union, you are getting, A itself, okay, union of all those. And by looking at the equivalence class of Z here, Z, these equivalence class are satisfying this this definition, right? Are these satisfying this definition? That is, intersection is phi, intersection of any two equivalence classes phi, and if you take union of all, this you are getting as Z. So this is satisfying this AI, right? That is partition. So equivalence class under relation R, equivalence relation R forms what? Partition of A. Clear? Or partition on of that set on which it is defined. I hope you got it.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Now this theorem. This theorem is, if R is an equivalence relation. Before going to this one, okay, let me explain the first statement only. Then I'll show you the partitioning definition. R is given as equivalence relation on set A. Then the following statements are equivalent. Means to say, A is related to B. I told you that whenever A is related to B, equivalence class will be identical, right? And this thing will be happening, that intersection will be non-empty whenever A is related to B, and if A is not related to B, then it is not equal, means to say their intersection will be phi. Okay, that means whenever A and any two equivalence classes are either identical or equal, you can just say or disjoint, right? Yeah, partitioning definition is, the subsets of AI are the subsets of A, the collection, this one, collection of subset, forms a partition of S they have taken, or you can take as A, doesn't matter. Okay, if and only if, obviously AI should not be empty. First it is non-empty. Another it is, if you take intersection with any other sets or subset, this is giving you phi for not equal, phi is not equal for this index not equal, and if you run I over index set, you are getting back to S. So this means the definition of partition is given here. Clear? Okay, and we show that you can look at the statement of this theorem, that if R is in equivalence relation, then obviously equivalence classes forms the partition of S. Okay, equivalence relation is given on set S. then the equivalence classes of R forms a partition of S. Okay, like we did in case of this one integer set in this A. These will be partitioning. Okay, and the converse is also true. Means to say, if a given partition of S, suppose any partition is given, the corresponding to that partition there will be equivalence relation R such that these AI, this partition, the subsets of this partition become the equivalence classes. Okay, means to say equivalence classes form the partition, and if for any partition, any given partition or any partition of set S, there will be equivalence relation. Okay, and such that this AI, this subset itself are forming equivalence classes of that relation. Understood?
Can you
Yes.
explain the converse part of the theorem 6.3?
Which one?
Converse part of theorem 6.3.
Converse part. I'm just saying. See, if R is equivalence relation, then equivalence classes forms the partition. And if any partition is given of S, suppose S is this set, and any partition is given A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, A6, right? A7. So if this partition is given corresponding to this AI, these sets are AI. Okay, corresponding to this partition, there exists a relation that becomes equivalence relation, and corresponding to that, these are the equivalence classes of this relation. Okay, clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So before going to the proof of that theorem, this theorem, let me explain this one. So as you know that equivalence classes forms the partition of A, right? Partition of the set. So if someone asks you that find the partition of this one, so just go for equivalence classes. So here, what are the sets in the partition of integers arising from the congruence modulo 4? So congruence modulo 4 is equivalence relation, we know that on set of integer, and if you calculate all the partition corresponding to congruence modulo 4, that will become the partition of integers, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So this means what you need to do, you need to just calculate equivalence classes, and this subscript 4 means modulo 4. Okay, this relation represents modulo 4. So equivalence class, these partition will be obviously 4 partition. Equivalence class related to 0, 1, 2, and 3. And we have calculated all these, right? 4K type, 4K plus 1 type, this will consist of this one. 4K plus 2 type, this will consist of these one. 4K plus 3 type. Okay. And how to show these equivalence class become the partition? Partition means these are non-empty, obviously non-empty, right? These have some integers belong to that, right? So these are non-empty. You can just say AI, or in general I is running from 1 to 2. This is non-empty, right? And second definition is, if you take I intersection with J for I not equal to J, so this is empty. That means if you take any of these two intersection, this one with this one, this one with this one, or any of these two, this is giving you 5. And if you take the union of all these equivalence classes, I is running from 0 to 3, this is giving you total integer set, right? See, look at this one: 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And here, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5, minus 6, minus 7, minus 8. So every integer is getting clear with this one, right? belong to some of this equivalence class. That's why if you take the union, this gives you the total integer set. Okay.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
yes.
So these are disjoint. This means this one. These congruence classes are disjoint, non-empty, and every integer is in exactly one of them. Means to say, if you take the union, you are getting total set. So yeah. Now come to the theorem proof. So here, what we need to show, we have three parts, and we need to show these three are equivalent. Okay, these three are equivalent. Means to say, one is equivalent to 2, 2 is equivalent to 1, 2 is also equivalent to 3, 3 is equivalent to 2, 1 is equivalent to 3, 3 is equivalent to 1. So if I just show that 1 implies 2, 2 implies 3, and 3 implies 1, then we are done with the proof, right? So this implies this, this implies this, this implies this, this implies this, right? So all these three statements will be equivalent if we are able to show this one. Okay. So in the first case, what we are assuming, this one assume and try to show this one. P implies Q, 1 implies 2, means P you will assume and you will show both the equivalence classes are same. Okay, then you will take second as your given thing, okay, and try to prove this one. Okay, third one. Then you take third one and try to prove first one. And you will be done with all these statements showing equivalence. Right? Clear? How we are trying to prove? 1 implies 2, 2 implies 3, 3 implies 1. If there would be 4 statements, then 1 implies 2, 2 implies 3, 3 implies 4, 4 implies 1. Right? Like this we do. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So in the first case, you will assume A is related to B. Okay, you want to prove these equivalence classes are same. And equivalence classes, you already know that these are the subsets of A, right? Subset means sets. Okay, these are the set. When you show, that is, what is the way to show that two sets are equal? A is equal to B. In general, tell me how do you say this?
Ma'am, it's number of element in
Image,
A.
image of
Number of elements same and the elements are also same, right?
yes, ma'am.
Okay, that is elements of A are present in B and elements of B are present in
Hmm.
A. That means A is the subset of B if I
B and
show,
B subset of A.
right? And B is the subset of
A.
A. Then we will be done. So here also we will be trying to prove is the this equivalence class of A is the subset of equivalence class of B and equivalence class of B is the subset of equivalence class of A. Okay, so first for this one, the first part of this theorem is A trying to show A is subset of B. And how do you show that? Any set is the subset of B. You pick some element from here and arbitrary element and try to show that is also present in B, right? Right?
Yes, ma'am.
That is the subset definition now for all x belongs to, if x belongs to A, then x belongs to B. So from here, from where you pick up the element, equivalence class of A and try to show that is present in B. Clear? So some element C, suppose some element C belongs to some this equivalence class of A. Okay. And what do we mean by this C belonging to equivalence class of A? When this element is belonging into this one, yeah, A and C are related, right? Only then this C goes to the sequence class, right?
Yes, ma'am.
That means A is related to C. Okay, and given thing is A is related to B. Okay, A is related to B. So A is related to B and A is related to C. And this equivalent R is equivalence relation. So here A is something common, but at first place only. And R is equivalence relation means to say it is reflexive, symmetric, and transitive. So symmetricity, by using the symmetricity, I can write B implies A. B is also related to A. Okay, this was given from here. I implied that B is related to A. Now B is related to A, and from where we got A is related to C. Okay, B is related to A and A is related to C. Okay, so what do you mean by transitivity? BA
B.
is, so by transitivity, what should be there? B comma B is related to,
C.
yes,
C.
C, right? So B and C are related. That's why C belongs to equivalence class of B as well, right? So what we have shown for any arbitrary element C, that will be also present in equivalence class of B. This shows that equivalence class of A is the subset of equivalence class of B. Understood? Similarly, the other way around, that is equivalence class of B is subset of equivalence class of A. That is same, you need to just pick up from the element from the B, right? That is B is related to C or C is related to B. Given is A is related to B. From here, you will be able to use the symmetricity and transitivity to get the result that C is also present in, C is also related to A. That means C is also present in equivalence class of A. Is there any doubt? Yes, anywhere, any confusion with the proof? Yes? Yes or no?
No, ma'am.
Am I audible? Am I audible, students?
Yes, ma'am.
So is this first part, first implies second, this is done? Should I proceed to second implies third? Or is there any doubt? Hmm?
No, ma'am. No doubt.
Doubt?
No, ma'am.
No. Okay. So we have just assumed A is related to B and shown that A is a subset of the equivalence class of A is subset of equivalence class of B and equivalence class of B is subset of equivalence class of A. Okay. So A is equal to the equivalence classes are equal. Now you will assume this one and try to prove this one. That's the intersection of A with A is non-empty. Okay. Now A is equivalence class of A is identical with B. So if some element we are able to show that some element are present over here, then take the intersection. Intersection will be also the same thing, right? So if you know that A intersection with A, what is it? A only, right? Okay, here we have these two equivalence classes are same, so intersection will be same. Now our aim is to prove, just show that there is some element present in equivalence class of A or B, right? Some element is present in A, right? Then we will be able to show that this is non-empty. Understood? So, can you tell me A is having some element and how you are sure about that?
Because of reflexivity.
Reflexivity says that A belongs to equivalence class of A, right? Okay, and that this is also same as equivalence class of B. This is given thing. So A belongs to A and A belongs to B. This means to say what? What? Intersection of A and B, equivalence class of A and B is non-empty.
Not
You have
empty.
at least one element present, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is non-empty. Now you will be taking 3, implies you will be showing that A is related to B. Right? 3 is given as equivalence classes are non-empty, right? Corresponding to A and B, these are non-empty. And we want to show A is related to B. So equivalence classes are non-empty. Means to say there is some element is present in the intersection, right? Intersection is non-empty, means to say some element C belonging into this A intersection with B. So this C is belonging into A and C belongs to equivalence class of B. This means the intersection definition, right? Now C belongs to A, means to say, tell me, C is related to A,
Ma'am, A comma
right? ARC or CRA, whatever. And you have, this
BRC.
is ERC, right? B is related to C. Here, A is related to C. So from here, by using transitivity of the reflexive relation R, for the equivalence relation R, you can, not transitivity, symmetricity, right? By using symmetricity of this equivalence relation, you can have C is also related to B, right? C is also related to B from here. So what do you got? What do you got from here? A is related to C and C is related to B. By using transitivity property, A related to C related to B. That means A is related to B. Yes? And that's what we wanted to show. Right? Any doubt? Clear? We will just take some element, as this was non-empty, that's why some element must be there, and that element we have named as C. Okay, C belongs to intersection means C belongs to here as well as here, and the definition of an element belonging to the equivalence class of A is when it will be belong to this one, it should relate to this one, right? Then B is, from here B is related to C. And by using symmetricity, you can just say C is related to B and A related to C, C related to B. This gives you A related to B. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there any doubt in equivalence relation? Equivalence classes, this theorem, anywhere? No?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay. This was done, this was done. Yeah. What are the congruence class? Congruence class, or you can just say equivalence class. Congruence class means the relation is given as congruence modulo M. Okay. What is the congruence class? N with modulo 5. Okay, where N is 2. Means find the equivalence class of 2 under modulo 5, for 3 under modulo 5, 6 under modulo 5, and minus 3 under modulo 5. Clear? So tell me, this will contain all those elements is that which are giving you remainder 2 under modulo
5.
5. So this means
5k plus 2 form.
5k plus 2 type, okay? And you run over k, you will be getting all those a, right? Those a are 2, if you put k is equal to 0, k is equal to 1, 7, k is equal to minus 1, minus 3, minus 8, and so on, right? Cleanse class of 3. This will be 5k plus 3, right? 5k plus 3 type. All those a such that a is congruent to 3 modulo 5, right? This all those elements are consisting of 3, 8, minus 2, minus 7, and so on, right? So this will be the equivalence class of 3. What about equivalence class of 6?
5k plus 1.
5k plus, actually this is 6, but 6 is greater than 5. So this comes as 5k plus 1, right? So this 5k plus 6 is of type 5k plus 1, okay, for some other integer k, right? Both are same. So that's why it is 5k plus 1 type, okay? If you run over k, it will be 6, right? For k is equal to 1. For k is equal to 0, it is 1. So it will be containing 1, 6, k is equal to minus 1, it is minus 4, and so on, right? K is equal to plus 2, it will be 11, and so on. Okay, so this is the equivalence class of 6. What about equivalence class of minus 3?
5k
Ma'am,
plus
it is equivalence class of 2.
It will be, that is, you are getting a is congruent to minus 3 modulo 5. Okay, right?
Yes, ma'am.
That
Yes.
under modulo 5, minus 3 is same as 2, right? Minus 3 and 2 are congruent under modulo 5. So you can replace this one with this one. So a is congruent to 2 modulo 5. And what are those a? A will be 5k plus 2,
Yes, ma'am.
right? And 5k plus 2 we have calculated this one. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Give a description of each of the congruence class modulo 6. Yeah, you need to find all the congruence class modulo 6. Here the relation is given as A is related to B if these are congruent under modulo 6. Okay. So corresponding to modulo under modulo 6, you have 0, 1, 2, right?
Ma'am, show the previous question. One second.
Yes, done. Should I remove all these?
Done, ma'am.
Done. Okay. Now here it is congruence modulo 6. Under congruence modulo 6, you have, you know that congruence classes are based on the remainder when it comes to modulo m, right?
Yes,
It will
ma'am.
be, just calculate all the remainders under modulo 6. When you divide any number by 6, these are possibilities of this one 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on up to 5. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So corresponding to 0, all those elements which are congruent to 0 under modulo 6, that will be of 6k type, right? Those elements which are giving you remainder 1 when divided by 6, or you can just say which are congruent to 1 under modulo 6, So it will be 6k plus 1 type. And if you put k is any integer, k run over integer, you are getting this set. This set, right? K is equal to 0, 0. K is equal to 1 and minus 1, minus 6 and minus 6. K is equal to plus minus 2, 12, minus 12, and so on. And for this one, k is equal to 0, it is 1, k is equal to 1, it is 7, k is equal to 2, it is 13, k is equal to minus 1, it is minus 5, k is equal to minus 11, it is, k is equal to minus 2, it is minus 11, and so on, right? For 2, all those elements which are congruent to 2 under modulo 6, in general form, it will be 6k plus 2 type. K is equal to 0, it is 2. K is equal to 1, it is 8, 40, and so on. Right? Got it? Then it will be 6k plus 3 type. And 3 minus 3, 9 minus 9, 15 minus 15, and so on. Right? 6k plus 4. All those elements which are related to 4 under modulo 6. Which are 6k plus 4. Okay, if you put k is equal to 1, you're getting 4. K is equal to k is equal to 0, 4. K is equal to 1, 10. K is equal to 2, 16. K is equal to minus 1, minus 2. K is equal to minus 2. It is minus 8, and so on. 6k plus 5. Those These are those elements which are congruent to 5 under modulo 6. So 6k plus 5, k is equal to 0 corresponding to you have 5, k is equal to 1, 11, k is equal to 2, 17, k is equal to minus 1, it is minus 1, k is equal to minus 2, you are getting this one. And what about 6? Equivalence class of 6 will be same as equivalence class of 0, right? Equivalence class of 1 will be same as equivalence class of 7, and so on, right? Now,
Yes.
these 6 you are getting equivalence classes. Are these distinct? Means are these disjoint? First you tell me non-empty. Are these non-empty? Obviously many elements are present, right? Non-empty. Yeah?
Yes, ma'am.
Then are these disjoint?
Yes, ma'am. They are this one. Yes.
Yeah, you can just represent A0, A1, and so on up to AC, A5, right? AI is non-empty. AI intersection with AJ, you are getting 5 for I not equal to J. Okay, you will be taking different subscript. So for different subscript, different set, and you are getting intersection is 5. Then if you take union of I is running from 0 to 5. Are you getting the Z, the set Z? Look at this one: 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. And in minus, then it will be 18, 19, 20, and so on, right? In minus, you have left side of 0, you have minus 1, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5, minus 6, minus 7, minus 8, minus 9, minus 10, minus 11, minus 12, and so on, right? So these are forming set of integer. Means to say these congruents, these subsets are forming a equivalence class or congruence class under modulo 6 for Z. Understood? Is there any doubt? Yes, if you have any doubt, you can ask me right now.
No, ma'am.
So today we have discussed about congruence classes, that means equivalence classes. Congruence classes, why it is known as congruence classes? It is under modulo. Congruence, this is a relation is congruence modulo n. That's why. Okay. In next lecture, I'll be discussing about partial ordering. Okay. That is also kind of relation. A relation will be partial ordering if it satisfies three property, as we have done in case of equivalence. In case of equivalence, it was reflexive, symmetric, and transitive. But here, a relation will become partial order or partial ordering if it is reflexive, transitive, and anti-symmetric. Okay, so in case of equivalence, it was symmetric, and here partial ordering, it will be anti-symmetric. What do you understand by anti-symmetricity? If you have A is related to B and B is related to A, then
A
A
is
should be
equal to
equal to B. This is one definition, or you can just say negation of this implies negation of this, right? So this means for not equal elements, you can have neither of that is at least one of these are not related. That is A is either A is not related to B, or you can just say B is not related to
A.
A. Okay, that is the definition of transitive. Okay, we are left with just 6.5, then his diagram, nothing else. This will be, I think, our last topic. That's it for today. I hope you got it, everything, today's class. Thanks all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Stop here.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Am I audible?
So,
No, sir.
Asutosh, am I audible?
yes, sir.
Okay. So yesterday, the others are taught you which chapter?
The same chapter, sir. Impulse and
Chapter?
Question answers.
Chapter 8 over?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So today